I should like really not do these videos after I've been crying. What should I do after I've been crying? God is so good. He really is. I know, I'm not gonna say I think or I believe, I know that if every single person on this planet really understood how much God loves them, there would be no war, there would be no hatred, there would be nothing bad. Because love, especially God's love, covers all things. And I like sit around and like I think about these things sometimes, and I'm like, how do we get to like show people like how much God loves you? Like, you know, first of all, we definitely don't do it by telling people that they're going to go to hell. That's I've never met somebody that fell in love with somebody through fear. I can't even think about how you would possibly fall in love with somebody through fear. You know, some people might disagree. You know, it's fine. You know, some people might feel like you can scare people into submission to God. But I don't believe that, just because that's not how it happened with me. Maybe other people get scared and they realize that like eternity is a long time. And they're like, oh, I don't want to spend eternity in like, you know, damnation and whatnot. And then they're like, oh, like God. But for me, that's not how it was. For me, it was experiencing the love of God. It was experiencing how much God loves me and how he's always been faithful and he's always been there. Even in the storms, he was always there. And, you know, I'm sure lots of pastors and preachers, they preach about God's love, but I mean, the only way to really experience God's love is to know God. And the way that we know God is through reading the Word, reading the Bible. And that's how you experience who Jesus is, and you just fall in love because you realize how much he loves us. But you can't just like make people read a Bible. Like, be like, here, read this Bible and fall in love with Jesus. People have free will, you know, they're going to do what they want to do. But it's one of those things where like, I wish everyone would just take a chance. I wish everyone would, you know, start in the New Testament, because we want to, you know, I feel like it's important to know who Jesus is and to learn about the New Covenant. And then you can go back and read the Old Testament and you know, the history of, you know, prior to Jesus. But I think the most important thing is to know who Jesus is and how much he loves us and how much he did for us. And it's in knowing him that you just fall in love. And because there is so much brokenness out there. There is so much brokenness, and some people won't ever heal from it. They'll just, you know, and it's sad. It's so sad. But God is close to the brokenhearted, you know. It took me getting into a pit for God to take his hand and throw it into the pit and reach down and grab me out of it, you know. And unfortunately for a lot of us, that's where we kind of end up when God grabs us, is we're in the pit. Thankfully, a lot of people don't. Thankfully, a lot of people grew up with Jesus and they don't have to go into a pit, but a lot of us do. And he really does love all of us. The saint, the sinner, he has no favorites, none. And I've heard of people, you know, saying how they felt unworthy and how they felt guilty. and whatnot. And those are just thoughts of the enemy. God loves you. God is just like, he's just like a loving father with his hand stretched out, waiting for you just to go to him. And then he just showers you with love and blesses you. And the more obedient you are, the more you walk in love, the more you see his hands on everything, and the more you see him make beauty of your life. And it is the most amazing way to live your life. Unbothered, just walking in love and just giving him all the glory. It's pretty amazing.